and talking with God, feeling like I wanted to get back into it because I just really enjoyed it so much. And I was like listening, and I had been playing with the idea of like what this next fast could look like. Again, presence was still a main theme, but also like for the purpose of allowing more flow and playfulness and delight by way of surrendering, by way of trusting that it's all good. Like, no matter what it feels like, no matter what it looks like, no matter what life seems to be occurring like around me, it's actually all good. And I can rest in that. But actually, presence is the thing. It is the gift. It is the journey. It is the experience. It is the life of like, I get to be present in my life. It's not a tool that I use to be able to get through the overwhelm. Presence is the experience that we're here to experience. And it reminded me of a sermon that I heard once. And he was like, I feel like a lot of times people treat prayer like it's the scaffolding that you build around a building in order to build the building. And the building is the thing, like the mission is the thing, or the outreach program is the thing, or the thing that you go out and do is the thing. But like the prayer that you commune with God within is the scaffolding around the thing that you're building. He's like, actually, prayer is the thing. Like that communion with God, that presence with God is the gift. It is the thing that you're actually longing for. And it was just like, you know what? Just, would you trust me enough to like let it all go and just sit with me here? Just sit with me for a minute. If I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the day? I love that song because it's just like, just be here with me. Like, just be present with me. And I feel like that's what this is. And it feels like almost like a shielding of like, I could be drawn into all the anxiety of all the everything and all of that. But it's like, do you trust me? Do you trust me that I got you? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I do trust you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm describing what it was like for me. And that's it. That's all I have to offer. Lean a lot into the things that people kind of make fun of when they're like, oh, not to get woo-woo. Like, no, we're going to lean into it here. Like, we're going to get woo-woo. Like, let's have this conversation. Let's have all the conversations. Hi. Hello. I am so excited to be back here because surprise, it's another bonus episode. I couldn't stay away, It's just we're here. But last time I was here, I did a bonus episode and I was talking about my experience with the fast that I had done for December of 2025, right? And it was really amazing. Like, so good. So much so that in the beginning of that fast period, I decided that I needed an extended period of this. And so I had set out to do 2026 as my year of devotion to myself. And pretty early on into January, after like my fast period had ended, I was like, I really want to go back into something like that. I work really well with structure and like just outlined things to stay disciplined within. And I can follow a to-do list pretty easily. So for me, a fast period is just like a structured, space and time of like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm not doing, cool. And then like within that, like let it flow. So we are now in February 21st, I believe. And I also I had set out to do this thing for 2026. It was just something that came to me. I was like, I'm going to do it. I decided to tell my friend about it, who likes to hold me accountable for all these things. I'm going to hike Camelback once a month the whole year of 2026. And if you've ever hiked Camelback, you know that it's a really like just strenuous workout and hike. Like it's hard. It's a lot. And especially in the summertime. I've done it before in like May and July. So like I know you got to be there at like 5 in the morning to, beat the sun and all this stuff. So, but it's doable. And I was like, that'd be pretty cool to like set that as like a challenge for myself, to like something that I want to do, especially to like just move out energy like once a month. It just feels really good to like do something really like just exerting, to like just move everything out. I was like, that's what I'm going to do. So I did it in January. No, I did it in December, and then I did it again in January. And for my January one, I like my knee was hurting me, and I was like, by the time I was like coming back down from the hike, I was like, fuck this hike. I'm not doing this anymore. Like my knee hurts. I had to park like a mile away from the site because it was so packed. And I was like, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not doing this anymore. And I told him about it, and he was like, I think you should reconsider. I think it's a pretty cool like challenge. So I don't know. All that to say that I'll probably go tomorrow, even though my foot has been a little wonky. I'm gonna at least go. I'm gonna show up and just do what my body can do, and that's really a lot of the point of this, is like a really deep listening to myself and my body. And that's what a lot of my fast for December was a really deep listening, like quieting the noise from without in order to like go within and listen to myself, my body, my heart, and God. And so even when I hiked it in December, I was like, I'm gonna go. And then whenever my body tells me it's had enough, I'm gonna turn around and stop. Um, so that. But when I went in January, I was, gung ho climbing up the mountain in the first like 10% of it and talking with God. And I had been, like I said, since pretty much since I ended the fast in December, like feeling like I wanted to get back into it because I just really enjoyed it so much. And I was like listening, and I had been playing with the idea of like what this next fast could look like. I didn't want it to be like exactly the same, but like I wanted it to encompass, again, presence was still a main theme, but also like for the purpose of allowing more flow and playfulness and delight by way of surrendering, by way of trusting that it's all good. Like, no matter what it feels like, no matter what it looks like, no matter what life seems to be occurring like around me, it's actually all good. And I can rest in that. And that was a really big theme too of like a little bit before that I had gone to the park and I heard the scripture, come to me and I will give you rest, which is like a really famous scripture. And that's just paraphrasing, not the whole thing, but like I was like, yeah, I need some more of that. I definitely need some more like really deep, profound rest. So I live my life on 10. Like I'm just always, when I, as a mother, as the head of my household, somebody who, I'm doing all the things, I'm providing, I'm responsible for all of it. I have to be a high functioning person in order for everything to get done. So I think, so I believe. And now I'm at the point in my life where I'm like questioning that of like, actually, you know, I've lived my whole life pretty much on 10, just believing that like I have to do everything or it's not going to get done. As a Virgo, I have to do it or it's not going to be done right, right? Is the lie that I live with all the time. And it's like, actually, you're allowed to let shit fall apart. You're allowed to let other people do it even if it's not done the way that you want it done, you're allowed to delegate to your daughters and let them help out around the house more and wash dishes, even if something breaks, even if it makes a bigger mess. You're allowed to let stuff go, and you don't have to hold it all together all the time. And just know that, like, the whole point of it isn't for it to be what you think it has to be. The whole point of it is to be present in your life, and dare I say, enjoy the moments. And so what I was craving was more of a like freedom within my own life to be able to surrender and let go and flow. To really, what it is to be more in my feminine energy. Because in order to be somebody who is more in a flow, who is able to be more receptive and to surrender and to receive and to like allow, like, that's a very feminine energy. And I think I talked about this in my last bonus episode of like, I'm constantly in my like very rigid go 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 masculine energy, like hustle culture, like just get shit done, because I've told myself that like it has to get done and I have to be the one to do it. Like that Russ song, I'll do it myself. Fuck it, I'll do it myself. I hear that song in my head a lot. But I was like, there has to be a better way. There has to be a more relaxed way to exist in my life. Like, I was just so tired of being so overstimulated, being overwhelmed, feeling like I'm burnt out as a human, as a mother, as like, and it's like, actually, I have so much in my life to be grateful for. I have so much in my life that I can be present for, that I can just delight in and play with my kids and all these things. And to just let go of like the rigidity of the schedule and the routine and all these things. And it's like, you know what, maybe homework won't get done this week. Maybe we just won't turn it in. Maybe we'll be late every day this week. That's possible. But will I be able to be there in the moments where my daughters actually need me to help them to co-regulate their emotions and stand as an example for them in my own regulating of my own emotions, and what that looks like, and whether it's like taking deep breaths or like pausing for a minute or sitting still or going to take a bath or like whatever, going to do like 10 minutes of yoga or just like going outside to play with them or doing cartwheels or playing in the grass barefoot, whatever it is. And I don't know, I just feel like I just have a really sweet life and I'm missing parts of it. And I don't like that. I feel like I just can enjoy so much. It's like, I don't really want to ask for more in my life. I want to ask, I've been asking for more capacity with which to receive all the blessings that God has already given me in my life. Meaning, my life is abundant and beautiful right now as it is. And I have yet to fully tap into the full, like, just savoring of my life right now. And it's like, why would I ask for, why would I be given more if like I haven't been fully embracing and enjoying all the parts of my life that I have already? So it's like, I don't know, it just felt like a really necessary but also sweet invitation to be like, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to let shit slide, let it go, let it fall. Like, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. It's okay to be in the moment, while your daughters are young. The days are long, but the weeks and the months and the years, they go by fast. And it's like, the twins, my youngest, they just turned 8 2 days ago. And which means they're going to be 10 soon, which means they're going to be 15 soon, which means they're going to be 20. And just yesterday I was having this moment with one of the girls who we've been struggling. She has been struggling. I've been struggling. We've been struggling collectively. And I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring out how to best parent her, how to best support her, and how to be grounded and regulated within myself enough to be able to do that and put my ego away when I'm parenting her, because it's difficult. And I was literally in the bathroom and I was just like, I'm so tired. I was crying. I was like, I'm so tired. Like, I don't know if I have it in me. And I just meant like mothering in general, of like, damn, this is going to be a long, this is going to be a long ride. And that's kind of what I feel like I'm being invited to dismantle. And that's probably a really good word for this season of life for me, is dismantling. And I think it was Joseph Solomon, who said in one of his videos that he put on his YouTube channel, I think it was Flights and Feeling, he talked about, he was talking about like deconstruction of Christian faith, but he was like, once you're somebody who you have dismantled something, you just kind of become this person who looks at things and you can't unsee the holes in it. And so you just kind of start to dismantle everything that has holes in it around you. Any constructs, any institutions or things that have been fed to you that are half truths or whatever it is in any way. And you just start to just kind of like point out the holes and be like, actually, that feels like bullshit. And I don't know, I can't unsee things once I see them now. I can't pretend that like, oh, it's all good. It's not all good. And I've become more empowered in the part of me that is a truth seeker. Like, I've always been a truth seeker, but it's always been like, okay, well, that's what you've told me. Great. That's what it is. And as I've grown older, I question things more, and I'm like, well, why? And how? And for what purpose? And who's telling me this? And where did you get this information from? And why? And I don't mean just with religion. I mean with everything. I mean with relationships and what they've told us it's supposed to be or what it's supposed to look like. I mean with mothering and parenting and what they've told us we're supposed to do and it's supposed to look like. I mean with like creating my life as I want to live it, and what they've told us this is what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to be content with. And I'm just like, no, like that's not good enough for me. I know that I was created for more than that. I know that for a relationship, I want a great love, and something that's been always there in me, but really more so awakened, or maybe more so I've just accepted it more, is that I do want a great love, but also like I've realized that I may never, I may never find this type of relationship, but also I don't want to settle. Like I'm not going to, I also had this moment the other day. I was at the girl's birthday party and, my ex was on his way, and I just had this like epiphany, like realization of like, holy shit, Vanessa, like you have completely dismantled this previous life that you had with this person, for you and for your daughters. And you now get this extraordinary opportunity to conjure up and dream up and imagine up any kind of life that you want to live and create that for yourself. Any kind of relationship that you want to experience and create that for yourself with somebody else when you align with them. Like you literally, do you know how many people would love to be in the position that you're in, where you are no longer bound to this person and this life and this marriage that you once were. You've done what's needed to be done. You've done what has been needed to be done in order to liberate yourself and your whole life. And you now get to create the life piece by piece by piece that you want. Do not settle. Do not just imagine your greatest imagining for your life and go for that. It was like this moment of almost existential realization, because I remember I could see myself. I was just doing this insignificant thing, just moving some water bottles around on the table. And I just had this moment of holy shit, I get to now create my life and a relationship and my whole being any way that I want to. I don't have any limitations on what I get to experience and how I get to live my life whatsoever. And since then, I've been realizing that I actually, if I'm being honest with myself, and that's what this period of fasting is about me being able to sit within just myself. I like to say within the soup of my own soul. I don't remember where I heard that verse, but I love that. But just being able to sit with me and just figure out what it is that I actually desire. And what I realize is that I actually have very deep longings. And I was brought back to a book by John Eldridge, and he has a book called Desire, where he talks about the desires of our hearts being the compass to our life. They were all placed there, and they're good. And in his book, Waking the Dead, he talked about God's greatest glory is man fully alive. And that means so much to me, because it's a full invitation to be whatever desires are in your heart are there for a reason. Whatever dreams that you have that make you come alive are there for a reason. And not only do you have permission to pursue those dreams, not only do you have permission to desire the deepest longings of your heart, and not only are you invited to, not only are you encouraged to by God, but you're also supported by God and the entire universe. And just try it out. Just try it out. Just try actually taking your deepest longings and desires and dreams seriously, maybe just one at a time. And being honest with yourself of actually, this is something that I actually do want. Even if it's vulnerable for me to say so, even if it's scary for me to admit this, even if I'm shy about it, or, if I want to be a singer, I want to write songs, I want to sing, I want to perform. I love to collaborate musically. I love music. That's something that a lot of my life, I haven't told many people, because it's I don't feel like my voice is good enough. I don't know if I have the creative talents to write music like the music that I enjoy listening to. But also, it's I haven't given myself space to even grow in that skill, not my voice and not my creativity in writing music, because I've diminished my desire and my longing for it, and I've suppressed it for most of my life because I was scared of what other people would think. Because it's the thing that you care about the most is the most vulnerable for you to share, because you don't want anybody to shit on it. But at the same time, you being scared of not sharing it with people is you're shitting on it yourself before you even expose it. I was just thinking the other day of damn, that experience that I had last year with that man who came into my life. He ended up being super fucking married, and all that happened. But I was damn, that really opened my eyes and my heart to really realize and admit to myself that I actually do want a great love. I do. And even if I'm scared that some man will lie or be unloyal or whatever it is, or that they could do that, or that they could change their mind. I can't control that. I can't control that for anybody. And it doesn't change the fact that I am built the way that I'm built, and I long for the relationship and the love that I've always longed for, that I've never experienced. And it's like, that has never changed. And I have to allow myself to be honest with myself and with my life and say, actually, this is something that I want. And going back to like my dating series of like when I was dating polyamorously, like it was a way for me to experience things that I wanted to experience. That was great. Like I experienced those experiences. Now I know. I also know that like casual dating is not for me. Like my heart is just way too deep for like casual connection. Like, and maybe this is for everybody, maybe it's not. Maybe for some it'll resonate, but I just feel like sex is a huge energetic exchange that I knew before, but like I had to make the cognitive decision to like ignore a little bit to be able to experience what I wanted to experience. But like it's going to connect people in many different ways, spiritually, emotionally, maybe souls, I don't know. All these things, and it's like, you know, the whole like catching feelings of things when you're like hooking up with somebody. Well, yeah, duh. Of course it's going to happen. Like that's what it's made for. Literally, biologically speaking, the hormones and the oxytocin and all these things that are released during sex, it's what it's designed to do, is to bond you together. So, you know, it's just funny that like part of me was surprised when it was actually happening. I was like, damn. And then I just realized that like, oh, like I want more. You know, I want more in my life. I don't want it all at once. Like I don't want it right now, but I do want it eventually, like in the next few years, you know. And this is part of my season of fasting too, because, you know, it's like celibacy and getting to myself and being really honest with like my desires and my longings for my life and for a relationship. And it's like, yeah, at some point I have to make space for that in my life, of like actually making space to integrate a whole partner and a whole relationship into my life with my daughters at some point, you know. And in order to experience that, I actually have to want it, because if I'm pretending like I don't want it, that is actual energy that is repelling that experience from my life. You know what I mean? So that's number one. And like also like me sitting with myself at AJ's, grabbing some coffee and some breakfast and working on my podcast, and another part of me being like, okay, Vanessa, what's going on? Why aren't you singing? You're working on all these other things. Why aren't you singing? You love to sing. You've always loved to sing. It's always been your first love. Yes, you're a writer. Yes, you do podcasts. Yes, you do all these things. Why are you putting so much energy into everything else but the thing that you love to do the most? And I was like, I don't know. I'm scared. But like it brought me into a space of like writing songs again, starting to write and poetry, and like picking up my guitar and learning some chords and playing some songs that I've been wanting to learn for a long time. And just like, I don't know, I have this opportunity to like really build my life from scratch, you know, and I don't want to waste it. Like, I don't want to mishandle it. I don't want to let things happen by accident. Like, I want to be very intentional about what I create. And even the vision boards that I created, I feel like that's a good start. That's a good start, but like there's so much, so and so much more. But like also just starting with like the basics and the fundamentals of like being a fully embodied woman in my truth, fully empowered, present, surrendered, allowing, trusting, and being receptive to life and to God and to spirit and to the universe and to all of that help that comes and rises up around me to support me. Being the best mother that I can be, having access and using and practicing all of the tools that I have available to me, and seeking out even more to regulate myself in order to be just centered person for myself, and also to be able to show up as a mother like that for my daughters, to set that example for them, to offer that regulated nervous system for them, and to teach them how to do that themselves, and to be able to have the capacity to support them in their moments of dysregulation. That's been a big one for us, especially in the recent months. To have the relationship that I've always longed for. And it's like dating was fun. It was so fun. It was great. And I don't know, there just comes a point where I do have to be honest with myself and say, I want more. And I absolutely, of course, deserve more. I've always deserved more. But like, to be honest with myself and say, I'm going to be vulnerable and say that I actually do want more. I do want a great love that is monogamous. Fuck. That is, loyal, and all these things. And it's like, I don't want perfection, even as a Virgo. I know who I am, but like, I don't require perfection, but I do require a lot. And by that, what I mean is that like, I can see through bullshit, and I won't let people around me who are just faking it, who are just, I don't know, like, and not that like this has been my experience with anybody, but like, I'm not going to settle for somebody who is here half-assed, and I'm not going to be somebody who is there half-assed. Like, I when I say I want a great love, I mean I want somebody who is really present, who really deeply cares enough to take initiative to like be excited to get to know me, like actually get to know me, not just benefit from the ways that I show up in a relationship. Because I am who I am, and I do the things that I do, and that'll probably never change. But like, to experience somebody who really sees me, who really values my presence, and to be able to grow from there together, I think would just be really beautiful, like a really great experience. And I don't mean that like it has to last forever. I actually don't want to be married ever again. But I would love like a committed relationship with somebody. And I don't think those things need to be mutually exclusive to each other. I think you could have a very committed and beautiful relationship with somebody without having to bring the legality of like marriage into it, and changing of last names and all these institutions and things that like society has deemed as normal for us. Like, I just don't buy it anymore. But I do want to experience life with somebody who I can wake up with and choose every single day, and choose to show up for them, and allow love to grow, and them for me. And so long as that choosing of each other is mutual and beautiful, and we're able to grow together, then great. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that like I'm going to change my mind and like I just can walk away from you. Like, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I think love should be something that is offered. and received and not obligated. I've talked a little bit before about Osho's book, Love, Freedom, and Aloneness, the Cone of Relationships. And in it, he has, I've only read like 3 or 4 chapters maybe, but one of the chapters is Attached to Nothing. And the other one is Let There Be Spaces. I love those chapters. But he basically talks about how like there's no bigger insult to love than marriage. And, this isn't for everybody. Some people thrive in marriage and it can be a beautiful thing. But like, how is it to say to somebody that like, I love you, please sign this piece of paper that says that you will be here whether you feel like it or not? I don't know. I'm just like, if you don't feel like being here anymore, let's talk about that and let's live our lives. I don't know. I just I just don't buy it anymore. It's one of the things that I've dismantled in my life forever. And I'm like, bro, if you don't want to be here, please don't, because I hate being around the energy of somebody who's just around me because they feel obligated to be here. Please don't. Please don't. I don't know. It's just not my vibe. But I do believe that not only that a great love like that exists, that a man like that exists, but I do believe that I'm actually destined to experience that in this lifetime. I actually believe that this life that I'm dreaming up, that I'm creating, that all these desires and longings in my heart have been awakened to experience, of like the creativity, the music, being a great mother, living in San Diego in my beach home, like this great love, like just all of these things. I believe that that life is my birthright. I believe that I am actually destined to experience all of those things in this lifetime. And I actually believe that even if I didn't want it, I don't really have a choice. Like, I think it's my birthright, and it's my life is going to sit me down and be like, you're going to live this beautiful life whether you want to or not. That's actually what I believe about it. And I was even thinking about how, I think it was one of the dating episodes, I talked about like my daughters and how I'm a single mom of 3 daughters. And I was just like, I didn't want to put that onto any man. So I just didn't even offer it as like a choice of like integrating my dating life and my family life. And it's, part of it is like, it is a lot. Like most days I'm like, fuck, damn, like it's a lot. It's a lot. And so like, no, I don't want to put that on somebody. I don't feel like it's fair. But also at the same time, the real truth of it is that like my daughters are the shit and our life together is amazing. And I honestly feel in my heart of hearts like whatever man gets to experience life with us, you should be so lucky. Like I know, very humble, but like it's true. Like our life is amazing. I love my daughters. Like they're amazing. It's a lot. And they're going to be teenagers in a few years. And it's like, it's a lot. But like any man that's strong enough and resilient enough to be my partner will be resilient enough to live this life alongside all of us, me and my daughters. And we'll see it as, granted, it'll be a lot of work, but also we'll see it as like a huge blessing of like, this is so cool. Just like I do. Being a mother is the hardest, most amazing thing I've ever done. Hmm. At the same time, every single day, it's both of those, every single day. But like this whole life, I couldn't dodge it if I tried. It's chasing me down to to create it and to experience it, and I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. So one of the things that I've been sitting with too has been like, just I've been in like a stage of like shift and transition. And what I've come to realize that has brought me some solace of like antsiness, you know, from the antsiness of like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Like looking for like this big Damascus Road experience of like, oh, this is the big shift. Like this is the defining moment. Is that I was like looking back at my life like 5 years ago when I was still married and living in that life and feeling like nothing is ever going to change. But yet here I am living this life now, feeling fully liberated, fully alive, fully awake to my dreams and my longings and my desires. And it's like, I could look back at that and there's not one defining moment where it happened, where it was like, it switched from night to day. It was a slow, very slow, and like just, oh man, it took a long time. And it was a very slow transition and shift. But like at some point, shit changed step by step by step and day by day. And in it, in the thick of it, especially, I didn't feel like anything was moving. I didn't feel like things were changing. It was like one little thing would happen and then another little thing would happen. Like even the divorce papers, I had to file those 5 different times for them to get accepted by the court. And then I got my name changed and like all these little things that accumulated to like now I'm literally living a different life and something that like I wanted. My own sovereignty was my North Star. When I was in that, I was like, I just want to be free. I just want to be myself. I want my own sovereignty. And now I'm here. And it's like, I used to be there and it was just a long process. And so now I feel like I am definitely like in another shift and transition. And there's no like defining moment of like when it's happening or even what's happening or exactly where I'm going. But like it's happening. I can feel it. It's happening. And I feel like there's no safer place to be than in this bubble of presence with God, which is why I really enjoy being in a state of fasting, because it's like this spacious silence that is created by the diminishing and the silencing of distractions from without, from around me, and just like utter stillness and silence and presence just here. And it really creates this spaciousness in which my heart can speak and I can listen, in which God can speak and I can listen and I can ask. My body can speak and I can listen. And when I was going up the mountain hiking in January, I heard God say 40 days and 40 nights, which I didn't even put 2 and 2 together for like a couple weeks after that. But like that's actually what is referred to as Lent. But I felt invited into this fast period that I was desiring to experience. But like God was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's do Lent, basically. And I heard consecration. Like, I want to consecrate your whole being, your vessel, your body, your mind, to be set apart for purification of just like this cleansing, energetic, mental, spiritual, emotional, physical, and spacious silence. Again, like from the December fast, a very deep listening. And in that, realizing that like I have these really deep longings and they're sacred, they're God-given longings, desires in my heart. And I also heard the word, I heard submission, which, you know, I tend to have like somewhat of a rebellious heart. And I'm just like, I love to be in control. I love to have defined things and know what I'm doing and predictability and scheduling and all these things. But it was God. I was talking with God and God was like, would you be willing to trust me and submit to me? Really, the parentheses was submit to me blindly and trust that whatever you're asked to let go of, that I will give you something that's better than you can even imagine. And the answer was yes. Like it was a immediate yes, but it was also like, what does that mean? What are you gonna ask me to like let go of? I don't know. And like the mystery, was there for a little bit. Even now, like I laugh about it, but like, it's a little bit like okay, okay. But the answer was a resounding, do you trust me? Yeah, I actually do. I absolutely do trust you. Because I, honestly, like I don't have a choice but to trust you. Because where else does even my next breath come from but from you, God? Like, where else do even these longings of my heart come from but from you? Where else do my cells receive life from but from you and your spirit? So not only would it be like discerning to trust you, but also, of course, like I literally don't do anything for myself and don't have anything for myself other than you, God, and what you bestow upon me. So yeah, I absolutely trust you. Let's do this. Full submission, blindly full submission. Oh man. um but really it's like, it's such a sweet like invitation of like, just, I don't know, I just knowing that God is unwaveringly for me regardless of what I'm being asked to let go of. It's always for my greatest and highest good. Like, nothing is wasted is a truth that I can stand on every single day. And it's just, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what it is. I'm here for it. Let's do this. Let's do this all the way. Um, Presence still is a big, big, huge like theme, because shout out to Jadina on YouTube. Conversations with Jay is her handle. Although I did take YouTube off my phone, which has yielded in some very beautiful moments of silence and like, really, like, I didn't realize how much I was constantly pouring in like other people's thoughts, and even if it was beneficial and edifying and like all these things, like I was learning, or I was, whatever it was, I've stopped all of it. I took social media off my phone, YouTube off my phone. I'm not listening to, not even music, basically. Like frequency stuff for like, healing and things like that. But like, it's only been a few days, but like, it's been so cool to see like what that empty space allows for God to speak, and for me to speak, and for my body to be like, for me to like actually have space to listen to the different sensations and how my body's speaking, and to honor that. And it's like, that's the submission of like, do you trust me? Yes. And so when you hear from me, when you hear from God, when I hear from my body, when I hear from my heart, the second part of that is honoring it. Like actually honoring it and submitting to that and saying, I hear you. Yes. Here I am. Whatever it is, lead me, God, lead me. But Jadina was like talking about presence one day. It, you know, I that had been the theme of my fast for December, and I was still very much in that. But like, she's like, and still presence remains, and I wrote it down because it really resonated with me. She was like, and still presence remains. She's like, you may be somebody who was treating presence like it was a tool. And I can really relate to that, because like, even in like the somatic embodiment practices that I've done, it's like you kind of use presence and like sitting with your body and the sensations of your body and the emotions that come up as like a tool to cope with the overstimulation or what's happening in the moment, or to build more capacity in order to move on and like live your life and have that capacity to live your life. But actually presence is the thing. It is the gift. It is the journey. It is the experience. It is the life of like, I get to be present in my life. It's not a tool that I use to be able to get through the overwhelm. Presence is the experience that we're here to experience. And it reminded me of a sermon that I heard once of this, it was like a guest pastor. And he was like, I feel like a lot of times people treat prayer like it's the scaffolding that you build around a building in order to build the building. And the building is the thing, like the mission is the thing, or the outreach program is the thing, or the thing that you go out and do is the thing. But like the prayer that you commune with God within is the scaffolding around the thing that you're building. He's like, actually, prayer is the thing. Like that communion with God, that presence with God is the gift. It is the thing that you're actually longing for. That whatever you're creating is great. Like that's a result of the thing. But like really the point of it all is that communion and presence with God. And I thought that was so beautiful, because I'm just somebody who like I've always considered, I don't even really call it prayer, but like just this heart space with God, this presence with God, like the thing, like it's always just been my home. And so that resonated so deeply with me. When she was talking about presence, it reminded me of that, of like, you don't use presence as this thing to build your life from. Presence is your life. You want to be present in your life. And within that, you'll reap all the rewards of joy and delight, and being able to experience all the blessings that already are in your life. In that presence, for me, I've found invitation to some deep rest, like just, oh my God, just savoring. Like I had a bathtub installed last week. Yeah. And my Pisces moon is like so happy. So happy. Like, I cannot accurately convey to you how much I love a bath. I got candles, like it's beautiful. And just, I took a bath right before this because I wanted to be in the energy of like what I've been experiencing, this really beautiful spaciousness of silence and like just stillness. But also I was really excited to be here. So like it was like both energies were here. But like rest has been huge. And it's like, it's really interesting because I feel like, the one of the New Year's just passed, both of them, the calendar New Year and the Chinese New Year. And like we're getting into springtime. And I was like, I felt like I was supposed to be gearing up to hit the ground running at this point with the podcast and with all these things that I want to do. And yet I was invited into this season of fasting, which is a period of like rest and listening and just deep stillness and silence. And I'm just here. Like, I'm just here. I know I was invited into this. I'm here. I feel like it's the safest place for me to be right now. I know shit's crazy in the world, astrologically, energetically, socially, politically, economically, all these things. And I'm just like, I feel like God just gave me this really sweet and benevolent invitation to be like, just sit here with me for a minute. Just come to me and I will give you rest. Because I was just feeling so burnt out of everything, like everything. It was just getting to me like overwhelm of like my life, motherhood, pressure of different things, just healing through different parts of like betrayal or with like past and even present and all these things in relationships and even like figuring out what I want to do with like my creative endeavors and like all this and feeling just pressure. And it was just like, you know what, just would you trust me enough to like let it all go and just sit with me here, just sit with me for a minute. One of my favorite songs, I love to hear songs. I used to have this playlist called Convert, and it was the idea of like these like secular songs or like non-Christian songs that I would listen to, and they would remind me of like a song from God to me or from me to God that weren't made to be worship songs, but they kind of were. And one of my favorite songs for that is Chasing Cars. If I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the day? I love that song because it's just like, just be here with me, like just be present with me. And I feel like that's what this is. And it feels like almost like a shielding of like, I could be drawn into all the anxiety of all the everything and all of that. But it's like, do you trust me? Do you trust me that I got you? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I do trust you. And it feels really good. And there's no safer place for me to be than inside the promises of God, including of, do you trust me? I got you. And my longstanding promise of, it's going to rain joy. That feels really good. It feels so right to be here. Yeah. I think that's it. This was one of the, really quick, this was one of the notes that I had made that kind of summed up when I was trying to gear up to get into the second fast again. It was like, I want discipline, but also I want to play with that and desire. And I feel like between a balance between those two, you end up with more of a just devotion. Like I'm just devoted to what is listening to my body and honoring that, and devoted to listening to God and honoring that. And also sitting with like the pleasure, like a very like tantric type lifestyle of like the pleasure of presence. It feels really good. More to come. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Bye. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm describing what it was like for me. And that's it. That's all I have to offer. Lean a lot into the things that people kind of make fun of when they're like, oh, not to get woo-woo. Like, no, we're going to lean into it here. Like, we're going to get woo-woo. Like, let's have this conversation. Let's have all the conversations.